Well, there is a major twist in the story of the 2026 midterm elections. Republican Senator Thom Tillis of North Carolina surprised political observers on Sunday. Tillis announced that he would not run for a third term next year. What was already expected to be a hotly contested election is now attracting even more attention. Joining us now with more insight about this election is Mitch Kokai. He is the senior political analyst at the John Locke Foundation. It's a conservative think tank based in Raleigh, North Carolina. Mitch, it's always good to see you. Are people in North Carolina still shocked by this news?
Yes, they are. And I think that's largely because the idea of Thom Tillis not running for re-election wasn't even really on anyone's radar. It wasn't going through the rumor mills. So that announcement on Sunday did come as a shock, and it's still reverberating today. But in retrospect, maybe it shouldn't have been a shock. My organization put out a poll in May that showed favorability for Thom Tillis at just 26%. And that was long before this fight over the big, beautiful bill. He had 44% among Republicans, just 18% support among independents. So it was going to be a hard task for Thom Tillis to clear a primary and to win a general election. And that was before Donald Trump came out and said he would primary Thom Tillis in the next year's election. So the idea of Thom Tillis stepping aside maybe shouldn't have been as much of a surprise as it is.
So both Republicans and Democrats, they view Thom Tillis as a vulnerable candidate. So what happens now that he's taken himself out?
Well, I think the news is the best for the Democrats because now instead of, despite Thom Tillis's setbacks, he is an incumbent, and it's hard to unseat an incumbent. And North Carolina Democrats haven't won a midterm U.S. Senate election since 1998. When future presidential candidate John Edwards won. Now it's an open seat, something they were already targeting. They could target even more, and with perhaps some more confidence, they will win. Republicans, of course, would like to have an incumbent to run, but they want a popular incumbent, someone they think that could win. Now perhaps it's good news for them that they could try to rally around someone who will have not only good, strong support within the Republican base, but someone who could also appeal to a general election audience.
What do we know about any potential candidates to replace Tillis, and what about, potential Democrats in this race?
Yeah, I think on the Republican side, probably from a national perspective, the name that's most interesting is a name that would be familiar, at least that last name, Trump. Laura Trump, the president's daughter-in-law, is a North Carolina native, born in Wilmington. She went to college at North Carolina State University. Now, she lives in Florida now and doesn't live in North Carolina, so would have to relocate here if she wanted to win. But of course, if she gets in the race, it would be almost certain that she would have the president's support, and that would help her in a Republican primary. If not Laura Trump, another name that's closely tied to President Trump is Michael Whatley, who's been big in national Republican Party circles, and before that was the chairman of North Carolina's Republican Party. If you go beyond those two names, about half of North Carolina's Republican congressional delegation has been mentioned as a possibility. You're seeing even first-term members of Congress being mentioned as possibilities. And then one former congressman has been mentioned, Dan Bishop, who was a big within the conservative circles in Washington, D.C., ran for attorney general in North Carolina in 2024 and lost, and is now a top official in the Office of Budget and Management. On the Democratic side, there is one high-profile candidate who's in already. Former Congressman Wiley Nickel, who got redistricted out of his seat, has been talking about running for the seat for a couple of years. But the big name that's hanging out there is former North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. He has won 6 statewide elections and is largely considered as North Carolina's most popular Democratic politician. He's been rumored to be a candidate for this race for a while, but still hasn't said one way or another whether he will run. I think if Roy Cooper gets in, he clears the field. If he doesn't get in, perhaps Democrats go with Wiley Nickel. But a couple of other names out there are Lieutenant Governor Rachel Hunt, whose father was a 4-term Democratic governor, lots of name recognition. And then another candidate, former congressional candidate Dan McCready, who really has a less name recognition than anyone else, but has a lot of his own money that he could throw into this race.
Do you think, Mitch, the timing of this announcement helps one party more than another?
It's really hard to say at this point. One thing that makes this race interesting is that neither party now really has a defined candidate for this election. So both parties will want to try to rally around someone as soon as they can. Candidate filing in North Carolina starts in December. Our primary is in March, but I think both parties would like to have a good sense of who the candidate is going to be long before then, so they can get their campaign operations together, get the fundraising machines started. This is going to be a hotly contested race, perhaps the most expensive Senate race in the U.S. in the next cycle. It's going to be a fun one to watch, and I know both parties would like to see if they can avoid bruising primary campaigns.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.